Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm making this video to talk about a story I just recently written, and I'm just going to talk about it. I'm not going to read it. That reading part will be next time. But I wanted to give some sort of background on the story. I'm pretty excited about it. I got to do a lot of edits on it, change some things up, and just sitting here contemplating what happens in the story. I already know what happens. From the very second I sat down to start writing it, I figured out the end to the story. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. And the time frame that I put it in, it falls in line with the main story arc and the story arc of Ivar. So it's all happening at the same time. So eventually I will get a chance to, later on in my book writing adventure, I plan to have them all get intertwined. So there's a big overarching plan. So the story of Caelculis Valley came about from inspiration of a fellow YouTuber, and the way I put it in is at the time frame that these characters go on this little adventure of mine, there's a war that is started by a group of people called the Authortubians, and they are a very hardy and brutal people. They're humans who are forced to the fringes of the islands, and they are forced to stay there by the elves, because the elves, they wanted the mainland, so they pushed them off to the side. So the Authortubians were stuck on an island that is cold, snowy, and most of the time it's like half of the year it's in wintertime. So they grew up being very hardy and warlike, because they fought each other for supplies and so forth. And it comes down to one person uniting them all and creating a common hatred towards the elves. The hatred generally started with the Alphas. The Alphas are a race of people that are elf-like, but their lifespan is longer than the elf. The elves in my world are mortal. They live to maybe be 150, 300 if they're lucky. Alphas can live up to 500 years. Up to. Doesn't happen all the time, but they do live up to 500. And so the hatred started with the Alphas. And my humans in my world live up to 120, 130, maybe, if they're fed right and their papers in their cage are changed, they can live longer. Anyway, so there's this hatred created, and when it comes to my character's timeline that I'm writing in here, they invade, they split the country in half, because that's how they spearhead their conquest, and then they're going to go north and south. So it forced a lot of people out of the empire, and when Eowyn was taken, that's when it fell. The emperor was executed, hung from the walls, and a lot of the people became nomads. They left, and the humans kind of occupied the area. And the empire dissolved back into city-states. So the northern part of the country went back to the city-state of Maldoria, and that was their capital. So the Maldorians became the ruling house. So the whole Aeolian Empire fell apart when this invasion happened. And the Huskan clan, before the invasion, was quite wealthy. They had rights to trade with the Mordis kingdom and the Stola kingdom and the two pharaohs in the south. They had travel rights to go to the islands of Myrtle. So they were very broad-reaching and wealthy clan, and quite large. The first Huskan had 16 sons and 18 daughters, 4 wives. Anyway, so that's so he built the clan into this trading conglomerate, and then when the invasion happened, they were forced to leave. So they leave outside the reach of the Aritorians, and they decide to set up a new town where all Huskans can actually come and live. So that also included people who wanted just to go there anyways. They were allowed to go. So Sedina is the firstborn child of Mordelem. Mordelem is an elf that is up in his years, so he's like 140 right now. And Sedina was the firstborn child he had with his first wife. She passed away, leaving only Sedina as his only child. So when he remarried, he was able to have 3 more sons. So from there is where I start my story basis. She, being the firstborn of his line, is given more responsibility to help with the business, to help raise the kids when he's off doing his business trips or whatever he does, and she is to help instruct and teach the brothers to take over the business when they're able to. When it comes to legal taking over the company, she would not be able to, being that she's a female and it's a patriarchal system. So, but she has all the right to say, no, he's not ready, or yes, he is ready. And I allude to a brother who's named Dristan. He did not agree with the father, Mordelem, over who should take over the company, who should lead it. And his argument was that he should be the one because he's the firstborn male, and that it's his right, and he shouldn't have to be taught by his sister. So there was a bitter disagreement between Dristan and Mordelem, among other things. So he leaves and joins up with the Aeolian Empire and becomes a commander and won allegiance. But when he leaves, he takes 3 or 4 families worth of sons with him. So what happened, I'm not going to go into detail with it, but what happened, it caused a divide within the Huskan family. So since the empire was falling, the emperor sent the 93rd Legion, which is Dristan's legion, to go to the Huskan camp outside of the empire. So at least some resemblance of the empire lives on. So that's part of the story as well that I added in. But when it comes to Ardruelane and Sedina, they are going to go and on their adventure. I'm not going to say it because it'd be a spoiler. But anyway, so I do plan to actually read this story of mine because it's pretty exciting. Anyway, for me, it's exciting for me. But the story is going to be 23 minutes, 27 minutes long, so I'm going to have to do it in 2 different parts. I might do one part on Wednesday, if time permits, and another part on Saturday. So we'll see. Thanks for sitting through this little writing adventure of mine. If you guys want a taste of what I read, you can head over to Barrett's channel. I'll leave a link to the video I was on where I read, and you guys can get a taste there. But the full edited version will be this coming week. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, stay being creative.